Real talk, it's bonus episode time. Running back draft. Not draft. Running back rankings, I should say. Jeff,
Yeah.
Brad, what's up, dude?
You know, going through all these running backs, there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't
A lot
pay
of
any
good
of
ones,
them,
I
but
think.
that's a story for a different day.
I'm on team pay the running back. But
So
there's
here's the thing.
every team has its own circumstances.
Only because I potted about this the other day in a solo, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like there needs to be a new way to pay the running back. And here's my quick Cliff Notes version, okay? If you are drafted in the first round from the time you get drafted, so what is it, 20 to like 25, you must be paying a running back X amount of money. If you're drafted in the second round from the same ages, you have to be paid a certain percentage. Third round, same thing. Fourth round, same thing. Fifth, sixth, seventh round, same thing. And then undrafted, same thing, right? Then, same exact criteria. First round back, second round. From ages 27 to 30, you have to be paying them a certain amount. Then, 31 on, there are no more criteria on how you have to pay a running back. You can either pay them or not. They've been in the league 10 years. It's fine. But the thing is these running backs are getting so drastically underpaid in their primes that when the time comes for them to get paid for what they've already done, the NFL doesn't pay you for what you've already done. Only the NBA pays you for what you've already done. The NFL pays for you for what you're going to do, and they're not getting paid. Hate it or love it.
I just think it's that they're getting paid for when. I just think they're being valued at when they like get the ball handed to them. Like they're not taking into any account on how much they're basically another receiver.
Not
Like,
all.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the ones that are complaining about getting paid, they catch a lot of passes mostly.
I mean, what did Josh Jacobs catch this year?
Well, okay, but he led the league in rushing.
Okay.
Austin Eckler led his own team in receptions. Saquon Barkley was like 60% of their offensive production.
Austin Eckler also doesn't like run the ball.
Yeah, so why is he being paid like a running back?
That's a good question. He did have 1,000. He had 900 yards. Actually, he had 900 yards rushing. That is wild. I would have never guessed.
Yeah,
and then he had another 700.
Yeah. He had 1,600 all-purpose yards. And the year before that, he led the league. It was either him or Jonathan Taylor led the league in touchdowns. Did you know that he went out on a podcast?
He had 20 touchdowns, so it had to have been him.
Yeah, there's some. I don't remember if it was his team or another team that the third receiver is making more a year than he is. The third receiver. That's why I think it's crazy.
It is crazy, and when you say it like that,
not the value of the player. I don't think all running backs should get paid this, or all wide receivers should get paid this. It should just be lumped into players, because the player that should make the most money for the Chiefs is the tight end. The player for the Giants should be the running back. The player for the Vikings should be Justin Jefferson. I get that it's tough, but it's like, man, they should be paying players, not just positions.
Do you agree that Josh Jacobs could be replaced today?
It would take a group effort, but like I also think that like when a team is trying to pay a player, it's a business, right? How many jerseys and tickets is Josh Jacobs selling for the Raiders?
Yeah.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
How many jerseys and when you go to the New York Stadium, how many blue 26s?
A lot, but they could very easily be a lot of blue next guy.
Okay. If the Steelers lost Najee Harris, I'm not going to have a Jalen Warren jersey in my closet.
No, but the next back that's getting 200 carries, you may.
Maybe.
Did you have Le'Veon Bell?
Did.
Who'd they move on from? They moved on from Le'Veon Bell, and now they have. I mean, he wasn't on that same level, so you missed a back. Willie Parker was before your damn time.
Saw him win a Super Bowl 75-yard touchdown run. It was at that point the longest touchdown in Super Bowl history.
You're still a
I've seen him
kid.
Kids don't get jerseys?
I didn't have any jerseys as a kid. I mean, didn't have a ton. I may have like a basketball jersey or two. Regardless, I'm just saying, like, the running back position is so. If you're asking me right now, as a Patriot fan, in the 2000s when we were winning Super Bowls, would I rather have Adrian Peterson in 2007, or would I rather have Corey Dillon? Not close, Adrian Peterson. But you had to pay Adrian Peterson. And if you pay Adrian Peterson, you can't have other toys. This is a passing league, Brad. It's just like, yeah, obviously Eckler is worth a ton, and so is CMC, and so is some other guys. But like
all running backs, it's like the top 10 to 15 running backs. It's like the top half of the starters in the league. That's why I'm saying I think we're attacking it the wrong way. You're saying wide receivers get paid this, running backs this. No, you got to look at what gives your team value. So Saquon has a different value than other running backs. I'm not saying all running backs should make more money.
Define value, though, because you're saying he gives their team value. What value? Third place in the NFC East and barely making the playoffs and then getting eliminated? That's value?
Okay. I mean, I get that we can talk about that, but I'm just saying that, like,
what's value? Fantasy stats?
Wins. I think wins.
Saquon Barkley hasn't done a lot of winning in this league.
Okay.
Right. Last year he did, Brad. That's it. He only won last year. CMC hasn't done a lot of winning.
A running back can't win the game single-handedly.
Correct, which is why they're not being paid. You just proved my point. You just proved it.
Only quarterbacks can win games single-handedly.
And that's why they get paid. And then the pieces that help them, wide receivers, offensive linemen, they get paid.
Running backs.
And then the players. But there's so many of them.
Okay.
And here's the thing. If you have an elite level running back, you can't afford the other pieces.
Pay your quarterback less. Daniel Jones is getting $40 million.
No.
They overpaid their quarterback.
100%. But did Kansas City overpay theirs?
Well, what I'm saying is a lot of bad to average quarterbacks get overpaid because the running backs make them better. And then running backs don't get paid. They replace them with cheaper running backs, and then the quarterbacks get exposed. If you're a smart team, if you want to keep the quarterback because you're comfortable, you have to know their limitations and pay Daniel Jones $25 million so that you can pay Saquon 15 or 14. And he's not going to be a massive part of your salary cap, but the quarterback payments have gotten so inflated that the running backs are eating that.
You're totally right here. You're totally right here.
That's why I'm not saying all running backs should get paid more, but like, I think Najee Harris is going to help Kenny Pickett look better. Kenny Pickett will probably get a better payday for that. Then we will lose Najee and be like, dang, Kenny needs a running game. Well, he had one, and then you paid him for what other players were helping. The quarterbacks have gotten, I agree with the 4, 5, or 6 guys that should be. But, like, we're like, well, next guy in line's got to get 50. Who's going to be the first team to be like, hey, you're a great quarterback. Can we find a different way to pay you $35 million, even though you're worth
$4? Like, I know who the first team's going to be.
I don't know. And it might be. I'm just saying that, like, it's this ugly cycle of running back makes quarterback look better. Quarterback gets massive payday. Running back gets shipped out. And their shelf life is tough because it's like, I can't just deny carries. And the only way to get value is to get more carries. And somehow that devalues me. So they're just stuck in this, like, hope there's a team out there that sucks that'll pay me a bunch of money. Like,
so you've seen that Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Pollard, none of them signed long-term extensions, obviously. But the Barkley and Josh Jacobs ones were the kind of quote-unquote shocking ones. So when they didn't get paid, who came to the aid? Running backs. Derrick Henry, CMC, Najee Harris, and Jonathan Taylor, right? Those were the four that kind of stepped up, right? You notice who didn't come to their aid? The quarterbacks. They're not going to give up salary for these running backs. What you said is 100% right. These quarterbacks are eating salary, and they don't care. They do not care. Patrick Mahomes is eating salary up. Travis Kelce's like, hello, I'm kind of a dog. Why can't I get paid? And Patrick's not over there like, I can give you something. Well, he's not saying that. He's like, get it from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a little different because Travis Kelce did say, like, his agent said that he deserved more money. And then Travis came out and was like, no, I don't. I'd rather win. I'm just going to stay where I'm at. Now, granted, he's still making good money. But I'm just saying that, like, when a wide receiver helps a quarterback get great, they both get paid because they're looked at as a tandem. But it's like, it's easier to just hand it to the guy that's making you great too. Like the amount of space they open up. I mean, how did Ryan Tannehill get paid that kind of money? Like, it's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
That like the quarterback market's so inflated that like running backs, again, I'll say it one more time. Running backs help quarterbacks look good. Quarterbacks will sometimes get overpaid, and then they pay wide receivers and tight ends to help make the quarterback look better because that's what looks better on camera. But it's the same thing with that Daniel Jones stat. I mean, he was undefeated last year when they had 100 yards rushing. It's all connected. It's a team's effort, but it just sucks for him.
Do you want to discuss Madden ratings before, after, or not at all?
I will. I'm not necessarily looking like it's something I anticipate doing, but I can talk about it a little bit. Are we talking about just for running backs?
Yeah, just because that's what we're talking about here.
We can just do it after and kind of compare it to our list, I guess.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's do that. So you started last week with the quarterback.
Sure.
You made it pretty clear you didn't think I was gonna differ. I didn't, but then we pretty much had like a top 6 that was the same. We differed on 7, but we're pretty close with the top 10. I'm interested on this one because I'm higher and lower on some guys. All right. Are you ready? Very much like last week, we are going to predict where these guys will be at the end of the year. Part of me also kind of has them where I think they are, but also at the end of the year. I mean, it's kind of like a mixture, but are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the best running back in the league right now, and he's also playing on what I consider to be a perfect fit for him. Number 1, I have Christian McCaffrey for no other reason than when he's healthy, he seems just to be the best stat machine, best running back, best player, best impact on winning, all those things.
Yeah, my number 1 is also CMC. Same reasons you said, don't need to elaborate much. My number 2, this guy is one of maybe 2 or 3 just pure out-and-out runners hand the ball to him, and he also has 2 Pro Bowl interior linemen. It's Nick Chubb, one of the few highly paid running backs. He doesn't do the fancy stuff with catching the ball, though maybe a couple times, but straight give him the ball, he'll give you the yards. Nick Chubb. There's not one person who watches the Browns as a fan or not who has ever thought it was a bad idea to hand the ball to 24.
Yeah, I'll go 2-3 here because I think it makes sense. So 2, I disagree, but not a lot. I just had Derrick Henry here. He is getting towards the end of his career, so I understand if some people value him a little lower. But I think overall, place any running back on any team, I think everybody's taking Derrick Henry second. He's the most big physical running back of our generation, best downhill runner potentially of our lifetime. Absolute beast. But number 3, I have Chubb. For every reason that you just said, I just had them switched. Chubb is one of the top reasons why the Browns will be in any game this year, and he is just one of the best pure runners in all football.
Yeah, my number 3 is Derrick Henry. I just kind of had him regressing a little bit with this Titans offense. I'm just not sure. But like you said, he still warrants the top three. We think about the power and in the hole, nobody can hand tackle him. He just runs over people, but he also gets clocked at 23 miles per hour and outruns everybody. He's just a freak. The workout videos, dear God. Number 4, I have one of the guys we were just talking about. I still think it's Saquon Barkley. I had him really high last year. I think with the pieces that the Giants have added, there is more of a threat on the perimeter. So I think there'll be more opened up for him. And I also think he wants the payday. He's got something to prove. I anticipating him play all the games. Everyone knows I've always loved Saquon Barkley. I have Barkley at 4.
At number 4, I have one of the players that I feel like has just really took an injury bug, kick in the nuts, and I think he's better than what he's currently being valued at. That's in fantasy, that's in football, that's in just Madden ratings, literally just about anything. I think he's being undervalued right now. Jonathan Taylor, from the moment that I've laid eyes on him back in college football to the time he's coming to the NFL, he's always proven to be just an elite runner. Last year was a down year on a bad football team. I'm not holding that against him. I still think he's number 4 in the league. You want me to keep going? You want to go?
You can keep going one more.
Number 5, I have a player that's currently not on a roster, but I'm okay with having him here because I think he will be before. There's no way in my mind that I think a top 5 running back isn't on a roster. And even if you don't have him 5, which I could see if you don't, that he's top 10, I think he'd be on a roster at some point. Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is not only was he a captain for the Vikings, he's one of their leading rusher now for years. He can catch the ball in certain situations. Dalvin Cook is a fantastic running back. I have him at 5.
Yeah, I would have had Dalvin Cook at about the 7 spot, but I just left him off because I think he's gonna maybe go into the season not on a roster and wait for an injury or a team going on a championship run to want to add him. So at my number 5, I have Jonathan Taylor. I also think that with Shane Steichen and Anthony Richardson, this team is going to be heavily run-based, a lot of misdirection. Jonathan Taylor did have a little bit of a bug last year. Whole team went through some stuff. New head coach, Shane Steichen, offensive guy. They've got Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, and Michael Pittman at receiver. I just think that Jonathan Taylor gets back on his horse. These are 2 guys I didn't know which way to put them, 4 or 5, but both guys I have jerseys of that aren't even Steelers. I love both these guys. Jonathan Taylor's number 5.
Go ahead and take 6 away too.
A guy fighting for his contract, but I believe he does the passing and the running, has a new offensive coordinator and a top 5 or 6 quarterback, Austin Eckler of the Los Angeles Chargers. This guy's got a chip on his shoulder. The last 2 years, what he's done in all-purpose yards, it's not straight running like most of the guys in front of him on this list have been. He's like an all-purpose weapon. I guess CMC is as well. But Austin Eckler gets touchdowns, he gets yards, he gets catches. He's a do-it-all back. And I think, again, there's another guy who wants to prove to a team out there that he's a difference maker. I have Austin Eckler next on the list.
At 6, right?
Yes.
It's exactly where I have him for every reason you just said. Total touchdown leader over the last 2 seasons. Austin Eckler is the perfect fit for the team that he's on. Love him with this new offensive coordinator, fighting for a contract. Definitely a player that is undervalued in this league, but really overvalued and not overvalued, correctly valued in our hearts. Just an absolute beast. 7, I have a player that you already named, Saquon Barkley. A lot of this has to do with production. Not production. A lot of this has to do with the fact that he's been a 50-50 player, coin flip. He's either hurt or very productive. Those are the 2 options. So when he's out there, absolute dog, but it seems like it's a coin flip whether he's hurt or not. So a little lower on him than other guys, but Saquon Barkley, when healthy, is all elite. I have him 7.
Number 7, I have him falling because I think quarterback play is going to fall, and I don't love their head coach, and they lost a tight end, but it's Josh Jacobs. He was the leading rusher last year. I don't love the O-line. Devontae Adams is voicing frustration. Their quarterback play, I think, is going to regress from Derek Carr, but I still love the way he runs. I still think he's a great player. Out of Alabama, Josh Jacobs, I have him at number 7. don't know if he'll have a repeat year. I think he'll regress, but he's still good.
Go ahead and take away your number 8 too.
And number 8, improvement at quarterback, good O-line in a dome where he's always excelled, Alvin Kamara. I think he's often forgot about because the Saints have kind of been non-existent, but I anticipate Michael Thomas coming back, Chris Olave. They have more weapons. O-line's always good. He's a dual threat. Oftentimes people would always say, oh, Nick Chubb or Derek Henry broke the most tackles this year, and it's Alvin Kamara. He makes people miss. He's slippery. He's got gold teeth and a gold jersey. He's pretty sweet. I take Alvin Kamara at number 8.
Yeah, literally, we're hitting a lot of the same spots. Alvin Kamara at 8 as well for me. He went from Hall of Fame quarterback to a slight dip to back to having a pretty good quarterback on his team, and I think this is a great year for him to kind of bounce back with all the negative baggage. Weird fantasy advice. He's currently going very low. I think me and Brad have already talked. He's probably not even going to be suspended this year either. It's kind of super weird. I mean, maybe he does, but it's not going to be massive. Regardless, Alvin Kamara's top 8 back. Number 9 for me, Ramondre Stevenson. I don't think this is homerish. I think he's been in a complete back now that Damian Harris has been gone. Definitely stepped up to his role. Ramondre has been an absolute beast. Bill Belichick has never had a 1,000-yard back as long as he's been the coach of the Patriots. I think Ramondre is going to be the first one. I have him at 9.
Okay, funny enough, at 9, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers running back, Najee Harris. I think improvement O-line. I think he came on his rookie year and really dominated to an extent. But last year he played over half the season with a steel plate in the bottom of his shoe because he had a toe injury. That is now gone. And later in the season, him and Kenny Pickett really grew in terms of passing game and running game. I think he's in store for a huge improvement, as I do think the Steelers are. I do like Stevenson. He's coming up soon on my list, just not quite yet. But Najee Harris is my first jump, and we can call it homerish if we want. At number 10, I have this guy's in a dual backfield, but I think he's finally going to get all of it. Good O-line, new quarterback. It's time for it to be his team. Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers. I think he's another do-it-all back. He's been great in fantasy. And with the O-line there and Jordan Love, they're going to need a lot of help from this running game. I don't think A.J. Dillon is – people call that a dual-headed backfield. I don't really get the whole A.J. Dillon stuff. He might be a red zone back, but I really like Aaron Jones. I think he's going to round out my top 10. Again, Dalvin Cook, not on my list because I don't know when he's going to play or where.
Yeah, he'd probably be higher on this list had he had the full carries last year. I think he will this year, even off injury. Pollard, just an absolute beast. Tony Pollard for the Dallas Cowboys comes in at number 10 for me. Lightning player has been for several years and just has kind of been, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of on a leash. Like literally just like we can't unleash you because we have another guy that we're not going to play you in front of. That's no longer the case. I think this is a big year for Pollard. I have him at 10. You want me to move to 11? Number 11. Yeah, number 11 comes in another back that I know a lot of people have high. You've already said his name.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think Josh Jacobs is a good running back, but he is only a good running back. He probably had the most overblown year ever in a contract season in which they have a coordinator or a former coordinator named first-time head coach who wanted to run the football, and they ran the football. I just don't think Josh Jacobs is that great. He had a career year averaging 5 yards a clip. He was an absolute beast. He's usually under 4 yards per carry. He's not very effective. It was in no means a season in which I would put him as a top 3 back like Madden did. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. We'll get to that in a little bit. I think I have him rightfully placed here at 11.
I'm going to go 11-12 here. At number 11, I have Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson. Also, a lot of people will overlook the fact that he was 7th in fantasy points among all running backs last year. He gets it done between the tackles. Damian Harris got a few things here. There was like 3 or 4 running backs I can remember trying for the Patriots, but it was a different combination of people working with Ramondre Stevenson. He was always the guy. Can run between the tackles, get touchdowns done. Not real flashy. You don't know anything about him as a person. He just kind of Patriot way, goes in, does his job, gets the ball, runs it really well. I like Ramondre Stevenson. Right after him, I have Tony Pollard. I'm just concerned with the injuries. I kind of wanted to have him higher. I like Tony Pollard. I just, with this knee injury and the talks of Zach Martin maybe sitting out, I just don't know how effective or how quickly they're going to put him back in, how much they're going to dance around it. But Tony Pollard, what an electric back. And he just straight up took the job away from Zeke no matter how bad he fought it. He wrestled it away from him, made Jerry Jones concede, and now the Cowboys running back is Tony Pollard. He's fantastic.
That was 12 for you?
That was 12 for me.
12 for me is Aaron Jones. I think this is one player on this list you could probably argue I have too low. Great running back, dual backfield, like you said. He's kind of always been the guy. Really like Aaron Jones. I just don't like him as much as the other 11 guys above him. 13. This is probably this player's on the way down, but I just like where he fits in with his current team, Joe Mixon. He's been a great running back for so long. Obviously, new off-field issues. He took a massive contract decrease to kind of stay with the team and still be around the team. I think he's still a quality running back. I have him at 13. It might be slightly high. I liked him there.
At number 13, in the AFC North, I have a running back for the Bengals named Joe Mixon. I also think he's on the decline. Maybe a little bit of a spicy nugget here. We'll wait till we get to the AFC North, but I think the Bengals are going to have to throw the ball more. I think their defense has gotten worse. I think they're going to need to score more points to win. They're capable. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but I think Joe Mixon has appropriately taken a pay cut. I think his carries will go down a little bit, whether it's Giovanni Bernard or Zach Pirine, I think his name is. They do favor some different guys in passing situation. Joe Mixon at 13 seems like he's still a top half of the league starter, but I'll tell you what, there's 2 guys I left off this list regrettably. 3 if you want to count Dalvin Cook. I think all could end up being better than Joe Mixon, including the 3 guys I have left on the list. Number 14, kind of same thing with Tony Pollard here. Breece Lightning, man. Lightning in a bottle. We saw him. Breece Hall, that nickname's got to stick, but he's got a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. There's going to be room out there for him to run. I don't know when he's coming back, but when he does, he is a problem. We all saw what that Iowa State Cyclone did last year, and he would have won Rookie of the Year offensively if it wasn't for his teammate who won it anyway. So Breece Hall, I put him in over some other guys that I really, really thought about, but what he did for the 6 or 7 game stretch was incredible. Between the tackles, after contact, before contact, he can run a 10-yard touchdown, he can run a 2-yard touchdown, he can run a 90-yard touchdown. So Breece Hall at 14.
14, Breece Hall.
No way.
Exactly the same. Yeah. So we got 2 in a row that we're dead on. I'm wondering if you're going to have 15 the same. After the season he had, I know he was part of a running back by committee. It was time for him to get paid. Unfortunately, it wasn't with his team. He goes to a team with a young quarterback. I think he'll be in a great spot here with Carolina. Miles Sanders at 15 for me. Felt like a good spot. I'll save my 16 unless you want me to go.
I can go ahead and take it away. It was not Miles Sanders. I don't have Miles Sanders on my list. He was one of the ones who just missed. My number 15, this team here, quarterback had a little bit of a renaissance. They have 2 good wide receivers, maybe even elite, and they added a 3rd one, maybe the best receiver in the draft. So they have 3 big ones. And Kenneth Walker now has the team. The Seattle Seahawks, he is their lead back. And we all saw what he did at Michigan State. And then once he finally got the lead role in Seattle, he took it and didn't look back. Kenneth Walker this season is going to help his quarterback, Geno Smith. The receivers and running back they have, Seattle. I really like Kenneth Walker. I'm going to put him at 15.
Yeah, last one for me, Najee Harris at 16. Obviously a little lower than Brad. I just think the production hasn't quite been there, as many carries as he's gotten. But to be fair, I mean, it was a pass-happy Ben team when he first got there, and now he's playing with a rookie. I don't think he's really gotten a fair shake. He's probably better than what I have him here, and has probably honestly the biggest potential to jump. Maybe him and Brees Hall, honestly. I left him here at 16.
That's fair. Number 16, I have a guy who kind of took the lead by storm his rookie year, then last year got hurt and kind of avoided an awful, awful situation. But now Sean Payton's his head coach, and I think Javonte Williams really comes back. He was a stud back his rookie year, unfortunately got hurt. The O-line has improved. Russell Wilson going into year 2, Sean Payton not taking crap, and Sean Payton, with Drew Brees, built it off the play action and a lot of misdirection. I think Javonte Williams is going to, come back. I think a lot of people forgot about him last year, and they buried everybody on the Broncos except for PS2. So I like Javonte Williams here at 16.
Is there anybody that you feel like, yeah, they should have been on this list somehow, some way?
Yeah, regrettably, I just didn't know how much I wanted to push for him, and I kind of went passive, which is not normally how I do it. But Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, Bijan for me, not Gibbs, but Bijan for me.
But both of them as first rounders. I just think Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to be a lot involved in the passing game, so he's not going to be looked at a ton as a running back. With David Montgomery, he's going to get the power carries, but Jahmyr Gibbs is just going to look too much like an overall weapon. And Bijan, it's just a crowded backfield. Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier, Bijan. I think he'll be electric, and he may even get the most touches out of all those guys, but there might not be enough touches for him to be valued as top 16. But I think both of those rookies that were taken in the first round could absolutely explode in fantasy and on the field for their teams. Miles Sanders got left off too, but I'm so far out on the Panthers, I can't buy in.
Yeah. I think that's the only one that I would try to even remotely talk you into putting in yours. I think Miles Sanders should have potentially a place, but I get why you didn't put him in. Let's go Madden top 10 real quick, just because running backs have been so popular lately, and I do find something very interesting. So the Madden ratings came out 7 hours ago, okay? So you can find them pretty much anywhere. Running backs on overall only. Number 10, Aaron Jones, 88 overall. So that's the standard for the top 10, okay? Coming in at number 9, equal rating, it's Tony Pollard. So really those guys would be interchangeable at 88 overall, okay? Then you have your 89s, number 7 and number 8. It's Austin Eckler, 89 overall, and Jonathan Taylor at 89 overall. I just had a massive issue with this. I think Jonathan Taylor's being way undervalued here.
Yeah, they cut him down and Austin Eckler. I think at an 89 is disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, 100%. And then this is where things get really kind of like almost comical. Number 6 is Dalvin Cook, who's currently not on a roster, 91 overall. It's not comical for Madden. It's comical for the NFL that a top 6 back is not on a roster. Number 5, 93 overall, Saquon Barkley, currently does not have a contract in hand, which is comical.
I also think that, like, wherever you have Saquon, I don't know how Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, and quite honestly, maybe even Aaron Jones at this point are outside of 2 overalls away from Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I know you're high on Barkley, but I think Taylor's better than him, and I think Cook's better than him. But he's right
way,
there. He's right there.
But either way, if you take Saquon 2 back to a 91, you still have Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, and Jonathan Taylor all still outside. Like, they're so close that whether it's higher or lower, they should be within a pocket of 2. And it's crazy that they're like 4 or 5 overalls low.
Yeah. Number 4 overall, 94 rating is Derrick Henry, the king. I don't know the problem with that.
I don't think our top 3 is negotiable. I think CMC, Chubb, and Henry should be the 3 best running backs.
I agree. And somehow Madden is doing something for Josh Jacobs that they'd never do for a Steeler defensive player.
Not even that. I've always advocated that when you look at Madden, you have to bust your balls to get a good rating, and then once you finally get it, they won't take it from you. Like Zeke last year was like a 91, or like, excuse me, I don't know how Amari Cooper is still in the top 10 receivers in the NFL. Like they have him as the 10th best receiver. They have him over Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have him over Mike Evans. They have him over Keenan Allen. Like, you get merit. So like Josh Jacobs last year was probably like an 87. They jumped him all the way up to 95.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I don't
Josh
care
Jacobs
that he
could
led
be
the
at
league in
92.
rushing.
But even still, I get that he led the league in rushing and he should get an improvement. But they jumped him so far. It's like they typically don't do that.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs, number 3 is honestly tough. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey, 96 overall. I think for the most part, I agree with that. I have him number 1, but I can't argue. 97 overall, number 1 overall is Nick Chubb. I think for the most part, those two, and then Derrick Henry. Obviously, Derrick Henry's aging, but at the same time, he's still so elite. Still so elite.
I'm telling you right now, it feels like Derrick Henry has been traded and he's now on the Dolphins.
Oh my Lord.
You know, just a contender. He's now on the Jaguars.
The Bills.
Sure. Is any of those teams like Derrick Henry just got traded in division to the Jaguars? Like just think of like one of those fringe contenders that are in the AFC, like, and Derrick Henry's now a Baltimore Raven. That's another name. We never brought up J.K. Dobbins though.
He was on my radar.
I think he should just be mentioned in the running back episode at least. Isaiah Pacheco really came on for the Chiefs. We'll see if he continues to have that lead back role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't bring him up, but DeAndre Swift or Rashad, but DeAndre Swift, because he's been a Pro Bowler and now he's going to be on the Eagles. But again, they split carries.
Yeah.
I like my list.
Well, we gave you the entire NFC. Wow, what did we even do? East. Holy cow. Feels like an eternity ago. We did the entire NFC East. Then we busted out a 40-minute running back pod. This is what we do. This is what we do. If you'd have told me this probably be 40 minutes, I'm like, no way. But it was light work. All we do is drop bangers. Stay with us. Next week, NFC North wraps up the NFC, and we're going to the best conference in all football, the AFC. So, any last words?
Oh man, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I enjoy doing these position lists, and I mean, we still got, whether we want to do defense, still got wide receivers coming for you guys, tight ends. We got to hit them all. Sorry, O-line might leave you out, but shoot.
You heard it, guys. All right, we're out.
George Pickens, number 1.
Real talk.